To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I am a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house, where I live. I have a great show today, and you all know that. That's why you tuned in. And she's in the green room, and I'm going to bring her out ASAP. But first, let's check the prayer urn. Oh, this is a long one. Robert C. from California. Hi, Robert. I have been to counseling. Okay, so have I. I still go. I'm not crazy. I have been seeing shadow figures all around me for years now. Since they appear, nothing but bad luck. I had a bad accident, fluke accident now, and I'm unable to work. Got divorced, and my health is deteriorating. My first wife is crazy. I'm sorry, brother. I don't mean to laugh. Um, and she dabbled in hocus pocus. She's a witch. Not good. I think she put a curse on me. Help. Pray for me. Oh, Robert. Robert, I know you, this doesn't help, but I get requests like this all the time. It's not so crazy, and you're not crazy, and I'm so sorry that you're going through all of this, and I most certainly will offer up a prayer for you. And I've got so many to choose from. I'm just going to flip around here and see what my discernment opens this page to. Let's try. Okay, I know which one I'm going to try here. Okay. I offer this prayer up for Robert in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus, I ask thee to protect my family from sickness, from all harm, and from accidents. If any of us have been subjected to any curses, hexes, or spells, I beg thee to declare these curses, hexes, or spells null and void. If any evil spirits have been sent against us, I ask Christ to decommission you, and I ask that you be sent to the foot of the cross for Christ to deal with as he will. Then, Lord, I ask thee to send thy holy angels to guard and protect all of us. Amen. Oh, Robert, your message is breaking my heart, brother. And you know what? You didn't ask for this, but I'm going to light a candle for you. How's that? This candle will burn here for the rest of the show, and then it will go in lit. It will go into the room where all the other candles for everybody else are burning, and it will burn until it for you until it burns out. Robert, may the Holy Spirit enter and intervene in your life right now and remain with you on this journey and on to the next. Everybody keep Robert in your prayers. Alrighty, let's check the mailbag. This one's not so long. Angie B. in North Carolina. I see ghost hunters say all the time, don't conjure spirits. But then I see those same ghost hunters conduct an EVP session. Isn't that conjuring? Okay. And I've got an elite, experienced ghost hunter as a guest today. So she can beat me up about this if she wants to. I deserve it. And I'm going to get hate mail for this because I have so many friends that are ghost hunters. And I used to be one too. Yes, EVP sessions technically are actually a form of conjuring. I don't recommend it. I don't do it when I go out. You are your best. If you have a passion for ghost hunting and paranormal investigating and helping people with their paranormal issues, there's something in your DNA. You probably don't realize how sensitive you are to spirit. If you just learn how to tap into that, you are your best piece of equipment. I like to just let the ghosts communicate with me on their own, however they are able to do so. I'm not telling them to turn the flashlight on or off or roll the ball or knock on the door after I go knock 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 knock. I don't ask them to do that kind of. They're not circus tricks, and they're already annoyed that you're there. So I don't do that. But I know so many experience. Until they come up with a better way for ghost hunters to communicate with spirits, you almost have to do an EVP session. I just wish they were more. It was easier to figure out what the spirits are trying to tell you, and if you could communicate better. And that's going to happen one day, but not today. And I will leave this question out because I'm going to hit my guest up about that. Very knowledgeable, experienced paranormal investigator there in Ireland, and she's got a great team, and I can't wait. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there to visit, keep in mind my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So, um, if you go there to visit, brothers and sisters, trust me, I know times are tough, but if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. I'm also a certified spiritual advisor. So if you're having issues of a spiritual nature, not attached to the paranormal, there's a place on the website where you can make an appointment to speak with me about those issues. But don't leave the website without navigating over to the page called Introduction to Spiritual Warfare Course/book. On that page, you'll find the Ghost Store. All kinds of cool things to buy if you go for that sort of stuff. And everything you buy there, proceeds go to many important things that I donate to, causes and charities and so forth. Having said that, scroll beyond all of that sort of stuff, and you'll run into my haunted autobiography, God, Ghost, and the Paranormal Ministry. And now, just released, God, Ghost, and the Paranormal Ministry 2. So now it's twice the rev, twice the fun. Uh, it's interesting because my publisher used to say this was the scariest book she ever published. She said this one took its place. Very scary. And man, oh man, I think I'm going to write a book about the paranormal experiences she had just editing these books. But yes, part of if you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books, goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Nevada, and the ASPCA. So how cool is that? You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. So you can get the book a little less expensive at Amazon, but if you get it off of my website, I autograph it for you, and it comes enclosed in a house blessing kit. So that's very cool. Um, alrighty. Scroll beyond the books down a little further, and you'll see the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course. I offer a 12-week college level course, online course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. And this is a course for all you true warriors for Christ out there that want to have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, putting up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if that ever comes calling. This is the course for you. No, it's not going to teach you how to be an exorcist. That's a completely different calling. But what it will teach you is spiritual warfare through my eyes, what I've experienced over the last few years being a deliverance minister and now in the seminary and having worked many, many cases of a malevolent and demonic nature. So this is the course for you. All my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed gifts that you can only get from yours truly. You can enroll in the course there at the website. If you want more information about the course, before making that type of commitment, there's a Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course Facebook page, or just call me, talk to me about the course, and we'll determine if it is the right course for you. Most importantly, please keep all of my former, current, and future students in your prayers. All right, the reason why you all tuned in. First time on the show for her, first time me meeting her, and I already know without even really having talked with her much that I'm gonna love her, and I already respect her, and I think she's cool, and she lives in like the country that's at the top of the list for me to try and talk my wife into saying yes, okay, we'll retire there. I want to go there so bad. Planning a trip there for our 25th wedding anniversary, an Ireland trip, and I'll talk to my guest about that too. So maybe she has some suggestions on things to add on the tour. Okay, guys, we're in Ireland. You all know her. You all love her. I hope I don't butcher her last name. Elite ghost hunter, ghostbuster, paranormal investigator, podcaster, among many other things. Please give a big paranormal ministry family welcome to the one and only Jenny Sullivan Sannyasi.
Well, good evening. Good afternoon for you.
Not even. I'm going to stop talking because I love the accent. I love the
Oh
voice,
God.
face. I'm just not going to talk anymore. It's your show. Whatever you want
I
to do.
like to talk. Well, that's good because I like to talk. I like to
Okay.
talk. I could tell
Here,
you
then
like
I'm just going to throw some questions at you because um, what do I want to ask you? There's so many things. I
anything.
wrote down some questions that actually fans and followers of yours
Oh,
sent in.
fabulous.
Um, okay, I'm gonna be selfish here. Everybody's gonna. Are you gonna ask her any paranormal stuff? Yes, I'll get to that. But I'm gonna be selfish here and ask some personal things.
Okay.
Please tell me about where you live. It's got
Okay.
to be a beautiful place. It's got to be mysterious. And then I'm going to pretend like I just stuck you in a room with a leading investigator from England, a leading investigator from Scotland, and I'm going to throw the question at you. Okay, convince me which country is the most haunted, because all three of you are going to claim my country is. And a little secret, I think it's Ireland. But I don't want to make anybody mad. But there you go. Tell me about being born and raised in Ireland and where you live,
Okay.
and just what are we dealing with here in terms of hauntings, elementals,
Wow.
fairies, leprechauns, you name it. Just the floor is yours, and you can talk as
Oh,
long as you
God.
want to talk.
There. Oh, gee, don't be saying that because I will. I really will. Um, the place I was born and raised, which I still am in now, is a place called Drogheda, County Louth, obviously in Ireland. And let me tell you, it is very historical. It is very historical. We don't have to leave our own county to travel to other counties for investigations, even though we do. But there's so much. You have the famous Battle of the Boyne. Um, Now I have the king's names in my head. King. Oh, if I get this wrong, I'm going to have so many people mailing me saying, "Jennifer, you got it wrong." I just show up to investigations, look pretty, and do a little bit of work. The history I leave to other people sometimes. Um, but so is the Battle of the Boyne, and I should know it. My God, I should know it. I think it's like King William in Dunleer, and they had a fight. But I mean, I'll get more information on that. And there is one location that I and my team investigate, a fantastic place called the Drogheda Museum Millmount. This is extremely famous here in Drogheda. It's where Oliver Cromwell he was a British soldier. He had came over, and I think in the 1600s, and he came over with 2,300 men or 3,000 men to attack Drogheda and Wexford and Tipperary, and he had attacked the Matallo Tower in the location that I investigate. So you have a museum there, and then you have the governor's house, and then you have the Matallo Tower. That's where he had attacked and bombed. We have amazing audio from that. We don't know if it's from that attack, but we do have residual audio from that. And the museum is where the soldiers used to live, the British soldiers used to live. And my goodness, We investigate that location for the last 7 years. I used to go to school tours in this place. Little did I
Wow.
know. And I used to go to the banner room, and one of the tour guys asked me to read out the banner, and I did. And I was a child and so on. Little did I know it was going to become my second home. Literally, it's 5 minutes away from where I live, 5-10 minutes maximum traffic and so on. And and I will say we are the only team that does that location, which I like because it's not being drowned out by other teams. We do take teams in with us sporadically, but it's solely for the time being Emerald Isle location. But we do like to take other people with us to experience what we experience. So
Absolutely.
that's one of our favorite places in my town. We have the cadaver stones. I know I took Louise, my team member, up to one of our, it's St. Peter's Church of Ireland in my town. And there's two huge cadaver stones. It's a beautiful cemetery. It's beautiful. And they're about,
What exactly is a cadaver stone?
oh my gosh, I know what they look like now. Oh my God, I should have done my history before. You should have came and asked me these questions before I came on. Now I have my phone in front of me. Let me just look that up now because I'll always get it wrong actually. Um,
Like headstones are a place where they would just so interesting. I just don't know. I've never heard that term before.
I'll tell you now what they are. Cadaver stones. They are. So it's like a decomposing body of it. I know half my people are watching this and saying, Jennifer, oh my God, you didn't know. But they're quite huge. They're like headstones.
Wow.
You have one male and one female. And
I
I
gotcha.
have pictures of them and I will send them on to you. They're called death stones. Death
Okay.
stones. So the history of them, oh gosh, one is who works at the Drogheda Museum. Brendan Matthews, he's a local historian. He works in the Drogheda Museum where we investigate. He would know a lot about that. But yeah, so they're basically death stones. So you have a male and you have a female about them. So I will
Let
send
me
you.
let me ask you this. Ireland.
Yes.
I talk to people in Scotland, and you all have the haunts in your countries are uniquely Irish or Scottish or English. You really do in England. I've talked to people that really have these traditional, like Christmas Carol type ghosts that rattle the chains and do the moaning. And then you in Scotland, I talked to a lot of people. There's a lot of really, really tortured souls, but like a lot of poltergeist activity where the haunts seem to be a little more violent, a little more grotesque to look at. And then in Ireland, it's just off the charts what they are. I mean, I've talked to people that have experienced, they go to think that they're going to just work a regular haunting at a location to help a family or go ghost hunting at a haunted location. But what they encounter could possibly be like elemental hauntings. I mean, you've got the leprechauns and the fairies out there, and um, no other place over there has elemental type stuff, and even a lot of witch type stuff. Scotland a little bit, but the witch is more, in my humble opinion. People I talk to, like from the Aran Islands and stuff, a lot of old world Irish witchy stuff, but the hauntings there, people say to me, okay, where are you going to go on your tour when you go there? And that's coming up in about 5 years. We're going to plan and plan and plan. So it's just going to be off the charts. I'm hoping to take maybe a dozen couples because we want to go to the Holy Well where I plan to um, renew vows and maybe marry people and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of other places. But like people say, you better go to Lep Castle. You better go to Loftus Hall.
Yeah.
There has to be a place that I have never heard of that I don't know of that you can tell us about and tell us what the hauntings are like there.
Okay. There is one place called Redwood Castle. Have you heard of that?
I
That's
have
in
not.
that is in County Tipperary. That is no, probably get it right, Gillian, if you're watching. It's Rosscray in County Tipperary. I could be saying it wrong. I know we talked about it last week. That place was owned and like by the Normandys, And oh, let me tell you, those castle stairs are not friendly to your legs. They are not friendly. Like they are built the way they're meant to be built. So it is very difficult to get up them and go down them. You just got to be careful because you have the narrow part and then you have the wide part. And gosh, we've been there. Oh my God, I'm doing it about 3, 4 years. And there's new things all the time. There's new things. Some people find it very quiet, but it's not quiet. It's not quiet. And I mean, Louise, who was doing her video work, Louise is on my team, and she was doing the video work and got this beautiful woman singing. And we were in a room called the priest room, and no one has been in that room for as long as I'm doing that room. It's probably even locked off, and that's beside the chapel in the castle. So the last time we were there a few months ago, we went into the priest room, beautiful, big, huge room, a beautiful bookcase with books on it, all in Irish. And, it's and a bed is still there. There's a bird's nest there. It's just huge. And you have these slit windows. So Louise went through the video footage and you hear a woman like opera singing. It was amazing. And I know I was speaking to another team and they said, where do people want us to go in Redwood Castle when we go there? And I said, go to the priest room. And I kind of didn't say what we got. We want to see if we got the same. And when I watched his video, he had a female there as well. And I sent him on our video footage and it was validating because no one has done that room as long as I can remember. You have the banquet room, you have the roof of the castle, which you go up to. It is a squeeze through those castle windows. Let me tell you, it is a squeeze. And we have done many lives trying to get through those castle windows. They all laugh at me because it is a struggle to get through those windows. And they are castle windows. They're not your regular windows like these that you can just walk through. These are castle windows. So we do get through them. We do. And we go up into the roof and it's beautiful. The greenery around and everything is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Gosh, there is a bell outside that came from the monastery in Mayo, in County Mayo, Monk's Monastery in Mayo. That's on the west of Ireland. And I remember myself and one of my older team members went and sanded the bell down and, buffed it up and painted it up and restored it a wee bit, But it was a good weekend. It was tough work, but it was worth it because it looks great. So, so Redwood Castle would be definitely one of them. It is a beautiful place. Drogheda Museum.
Let me ask you about this place too. And I just recently learned about this place, probably after I entered the seminary. And I told my wife when we go there on our anniversary trip, I would like to go there. She's got me convinced that I should probably maybe go back on my own and do this because it's called St. Patrick's. Oh my gosh, I don't have it either. Maybe I do have it right here. Let's see what it's called. It is called. Oh, I do have it. It is called St. Patrick's Purgatory on Station Island and I'm going to butcher the name here. Loughdrg, Loughdrg in County Donegal. Now, apparently, this island is rumored where Jesus took St. Patrick and showed him an entrance to purgatory. And what happened then was they built a monastery and a church over this entrance to purgatory. But now the place is just for religious pilgrimages. You can only get there by boat, but they won't let you off the boat onto the island unless you take your shoes and socks off. But once you get dropped off there, you're there for 3 days with the monks, and you can't leave. You can't put shoes and socks on, and you just basically walk around and enjoy the beauty of the place and do a lot of meditating and praying and
we are going
finding out the history of the place. But you got to be there for 3 days. So Sharon says, I'm not going to have you on our 25th anniversary trip to Ireland with all these people that are going to come with us. I can't have you disappear for 3 days.
Yeah.
So I'll probably have to go back for that. But let's talk about, I had this question. I'm going to first before you answer the question, I want you to introduce your team to everybody and introduce the members of your team. But
I will.
this
Yep.
guy, Angie from North Carolina, talks about, you know, I don't know if she has done ghost hunting herself,
Yeah.
but she says, you always hear ghost hunters talk about not conjuring, and I'm guilty of telling people that. Back in the day, I did a ton of it.
Mhm.
But I said, yeah, EVP session, I guess technically would be considered a form of conjuring.
Yep.
So
Yep.
talk talk about that question that Angie sent in. Conjuring, good conjuring, bad conjuring, what types of conjuring maybe you don't want to do
Mhm.
versus harmless forms of conjuring, and then go into introducing your team to everybody.
I will for sure. So the conjuring we do, we I love audio work. I love EVPs. I love the recorders. I'm shopping for new digital high class recorders. I love the EVP work, and I know many people have said before that the Ouija boards are not the best thing to use and so on. And then they say everything is like even the digital recorder is like an Ouija board. You're still talking to them. You're still opening up a channel to talk to them, and I understand that. I do. The Ouija board as well is like I would say like the digital recorder is like a portal. You're opening it up, and we have heard many. Oh my gosh, the stuff that we have heard is it's mind blowing. It's
Do you?
phenomenal.
I hate to interrupt you. Do you have a theory? Do you have everybody? I ask 100 people this question, and I get
Mm,
100 different answers, but they're all interesting answers. Do you have a theory as to why we can't? I don't think one day I'll ever be able to have a ghost sit down here, and some of the ghosts that are here in visitation sit down
yeah,
next to me and co-host my show with me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like
Washington.
EVP sessions, do you believe the day will come where we will actually be able to really have these in real time back
Hmm.
and forth conversations with spirit, whether it be live or on some type of
Personal.
recorder or ghost box or
Yeah.
something? And why do you think now ghosts, like I tell people all the time, don't get mad at the ghost if the ghost can only manage enough energy to be an orb. Why? It's not their fault. That just happens to be how they're appearing to you.
Happens. Yeah.
Um, but why can't they? Why in your? Do you have a theory as to why a ghost can't sit there and I know some Class A EVPs have a full sentence,
We
but
do. Yeah.
it's all the even the full sentences leave you wanting more. They don't answer anything. They almost like the dangling the carrot in front of the donkey,
Yeah.
just making you want more, but not really giving you the answers. Why do you think they can't just if they can give us a sentence
Yep.
or a yes or a no or their name or what's my name and tell you your name?
Yep.
Why do you think they can't just continue to talk to us?
I think I think it does, like you said, takes energy, and they could be in a different dimension. Well, they are in a different dimension to us. Time frames, our times would be different to theirs. We have asked that question many times. It's 10:30 p.m. here. What? And it's 2023 on whatever date, say the 19th of April. What time and year and date is it with you? Is we haven't ever got an answer to that, but we're still there's Louise, and we're still trying to get something to that. We're still working on it. We're researching it and finding out why. I think, yes, we have absolutely amazing class A EVPs. I just think sometimes they just don't want to do it. Some will. I know some friends of mine that has, personal friendships with the spirit guides and so on. And I wish I could have something like that. I do think it's a lot of work, and I know we use equipment, but I always say less is more. And I know a lot of people like to use a lot of equipment and so on and so on. I'm all about pen, paper, and recorder, camcorder as well. I'm happy with all of that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That's what I get from it. The camcorder is great. I know Lou, she's on my team, and she does the camcorder as well. And she does recorder as well. I do recorder as well. I just think that there's something there that's kind of not giving them that time to
Yeah.
sit and have that. Because if we started talking, we're not going to stop talking to them. We're going to say, so what's it like? What you doing? Where are you? What's the name of it? Is it real? So we'd be like asking a million questions, and I think it could be too much. There's only so much because they're in a different dimension that it's just probably too much for them
Yeah.
to and whatever they can muster up with a full sentence, that's it. And then you ask a next question. And some, like I always say, that some are intelligent, some are residual. The intelligence that we have from many locations is phenomenal. The one that we have from the Drogheda Museum Millmount is second to none. I mean, I would boast about that place, not because we investigated, it's because I know the place. I have audio that speaks to me, that has directed to me, saying, Jenny, can you hear me? And told me what happened to them, even though my friend, my lovely friend Tracy Day from the UK, she had visited Ireland. I took her over to the museum and she said, Jen, the guy in this area you're getting wrong. XY said, told me what happened with him. And then it was like a year prior, we had gotten an audio. We do ITC, so we'd have a mobile phone in the, say we're going to call it the kitchen area in the museum, with a recorder in with it. And then we will leave that area, go up to another room of the building and have the other phone on speaker, and we will ask questions through a speaker. We sit down, we don't talk, we don't whisper, we don't do anything. We just simply ask questions. The responses from that was amazing. Like, I just want to scream about it. And then people said, I can't understand it. I can't make it out. And not everyone can. And I'd rather not tell people what's being said. But once I do, then they say, oh, I get it now. I can hear it now. And it took an 18-year-old to tell me after like a year of that piece of recording, she got the end bit, which I didn't get for a year. And I'm like, how did you do it? Fresh ears. I'm old ears at this stage. But she had fresh ears and she heard it for the first time and she heard the end of it. And it just matched up with the story that my friend Tracy had told me about that kitchen area. So I just think they just don't have that energy to sit with you. Maybe in time they will. Maybe. We're working on it, we hope. And I always find going to the same location time and time and time again, the same location, you build up a relationship, a rapport, you respect the location, you respect the people that's in the location.
Absolutely.
You know, you say hi and you say goodbye and you say thank you, and you got to respect them. That's it. Don't go in Billy Brasson and and kind of like, well, we're the Ghostbusters now. We want you to answer us.
Yeah.
That's just
Provoking. I don't like the provoking. I never
absolutely.
did. Even before I knew that it was called provoking, I just never did it.
No.
Well, listen, I hear great things about your team. I also hear
Mm.
great things about your podcast. So I
Yeah,
want you to tell everybody what your team is, and if you want to one by one introduce your team members,
I will.
you're more than welcome to. And then I would love you to make sure everybody knows about your podcast. And if anybody wants to further research you and your team, or maybe even keep you on, um, a ghost hunting Rolodex, if
Yeah,
they ever go visiting England or Scotland or Ireland and want to hook up with you and your team and do a hunt,
absolutely.
give everybody all that information.
I will. I love talking about my team. So we are Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers. The team has now been founded for the coming up to 7 years. I'm involved in the paranormal for 17 years. I was on a prior team. And my team members is the fabulous Louise Fagan. I tell you now, and not because she's watching, and I've said this to her before, I'd be lost without her. She's like my right-hand woman. She really is. She's a go-getter. And I've had many people on my team, and it was a struggle sometimes. This girl is a gem, and she's not allowed to leave ever. Do you hear me, Louise? You're not allowed to ever leave. Then we have her lovely husband, Niall McHugh. He's Louise's husband. He's on the team as well. He is fabulously, he's a skeptic, but we like
Very
that
good.
because
Yeah, we
he's
do too.
very, I think he calms me and Louise down sometimes. He has the voice of reason. So there's only three in my team. We keep it small. We work well together. We work hard. We play hard. So we have Louise Fagan, who's a fantastic investigator. Niall McHugh, her husband, who's a fantastic investigator. And I think running my team for the last, say, 6, almost 7 years, I think I deserved these two people that I've met to be on my team and work it and make Emerald Isle.
I have a secret to tell you. Hopefully Niles isn't watching, but I have a secret.
Yeah.
He may not realize this is going to happen, but one day something's going to happen, and he's going to be a believer.
Oh, really? Oh,
Jen, I just went and filled out your the form on your Facebook page,
yes.
and it asked if you've had any experiences, and I was honest. I say I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't know for sure. So, but yeah, I'm right along. I'm right along with him. I'm still kind of a skeptic. I'm not too much of a believer yet, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, you didn't need to fill that out. I know who you are, so I would have just thrown it in there.
Eh, it said I had to, and I follow the rules. I'm not like
I
Shawn.
did say, I did say,
I don't want special favors, so
I did say that. I said, you must fill out all these questions before we accept you onto the page because my page is private. But
yeah.
it's private for good reasons. The other thing that I run is the podcast, Shadow Whispers in the Night. That's about 2 years of age. That has been phenomenal. I didn't think it would run as long as it is. And I've had amazing people on, so much fun. Halloween shows, Christmas shows, fantastic guests on with us. So that's running 2 years. I think it'll be 3 years coming up soon. Yeah, but I didn't think it would go as quick as it did. Shadow Whispers in the Night.
Where can
Um,
people see the show and what nights?
it's on Saturday nights. We are on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is going to be about EVPs and video.
What time in Ireland are you actually live?
We're going to be tomorrow night. We're going to go half an hour earlier, so we're going to be 9 p.m.
So that's one p.m. in the afternoon here in the States on Pacific, I should say.
Yeah,
2, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and
that's
that's a Facebook Live thing.
that's Facebook Live. Yeah, we are on Things Network. We are on It's Haunted Network. We are on Parapost 2 Central network as well. That's in Canada as well. So we are on different platforms, and we're on Twitter as well. So yeah,
Okay, I have to ask you this, and before I ask you this,
yes,
I'm going to pull this down because I got to have my shillelagh ready,
yay!
just in case we have some unruly
Leprechaun.
elementals show up and try to. I mean, everybody knows. I've told everybody the first time was going to have you on, you had terrible computer issues, and the second
Yeah,
time after I rescheduled, I had terrible computer issues. So
I
this is
know.
a bit of a miracle that this is even happening.
And then
But
last
let me.
night, my Facebook got hacked. And by the grace of God, I jumped out
Yeah.
of bed so fast and I came down and I had to press this and press that and beg and please. But I was hacked. My Facebook page was hacked last night. So we managed to save it.
Let me tell you a weird story. It's not a long story, and then I know your story is going to be way better.
I
It's a good
thought,
lead. It's a good lead into your story.
okay.
I am, uh, I believe I have elemental activity on my property. I've
Mm,
been on these cases where um, I've had a couple of cases in my time where I've gone into these homes and somebody in the family claims somebody else is not their family member.
mhm,
And I go, so what are we talking? An attachment with a spirit or possessed? What are you saying? No, they look like them and sound like them, but it's not them. Well,
mhm,
okay. Sometimes these person is having some personal, emotional, psychological issues, and we eventually get them to a doctor and find that out, and then we get them the help they need. But there's been a couple of times where that wasn't the case. And what was really astounding is if there's somebody else in the family that agrees with that family member about that other family member. It's happened a couple of times. And it's what's eerie about it is that you talk to the people who are accused of not being the real person,
mhm,
and they're just so like not a care in the world. So a matter of factly, oh, that's what people think. Just it's just kind of eerie. Then
yeah,
I know about the Irish changeling, which is tied to the fairy lore.
mhm,
And then the other night I'm up late and I'm doing some channel surfing. I don't want to go to sleep because I got to wake my wife up like in an hour to get ready for work. But it's late at night. I'm channel surfing. I see this movie. I know it's just a movie. but it's called The Hole in the Ground. And I flip on movie info and I say, oh, filmed in Ireland. I got to check this out.
Mhm.
Really scary movie. I don't know if you've seen it.
Haven't seen it. I'm writing it down.
And it is about that whole folkloric legend of the fairy changeling and how they come
Mm.
in and they could and then I started researching and I found out about like back in the day. If you look at some old black and white Irish photos, sometimes you see these little boys dressed as, oh, I may have this backwards. You either have the little boys dressed as girls, that's it. All
Yes.
the little boys would be dressed as little girls because the
Yeah. Yeah.
fairies would tend to come and kidnap the little boys
Yep. That's
up
true.
to a
Yeah.
certain age.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I I've seen some things and experienced some things that I never say never again, or
Mhm.
that's malarkey or whatever,
Yeah.
because you just don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't have all the answers, but I always do find that there's always a bit of all of these old folkloric legends have a they stem from a bit of truth.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
you um have you ever gone and investigated any place where you're at where
Mm.
you didn't really know what you've encountered or what you were up against, and
Yes.
you've experienced things that bring some of these legends to life? And what do you think about the fairies? Would you build on a fairy mound?
I probably would.
Really?
Yeah. I probably would.
Well, you're
Um,
brave then.
I'd probably get bored and just say, "Hey, let's build a house on a fairy mound." So what could happen? You'll have a whiskey and you'll be
Yeah,
grand.
what could happen?
You'll have a whiskey and it'll be all right.
Yeah, okay.
I I thought there was one at my mum's house, and I was doing a little history on the fairy mounds, and there's about 60,000 in Ireland, and the most famous one is Knockgraffin Moat in Tipperary. That's the most famous one. I know. I think Gillian's here. I'm not too sure, but she would know more about that. But I was doing a little homework on the fairy mounds. Now I know myself and Louise were out and about doing a little urban exploring a few weeks ago, and we had came across this huge fairy mound. Like, we were talking to Barry Fitzgerald on my show, and he was talking about them as well. And Barry being from Ireland and whatnot, and we came across one, and it was torrential rain. We had been in a graveyard and doing a live, and my raincoat wasn't waterproof. Typically Irish, my raincoat was not waterproof, so I was soaked to the bone. And I said, right, we need to get going and so on. But we've seen this huge fairy fort, and so we said we will go back to it. We will go back to it. We'll probably do a little live from it, but we will definitely go back to it. Would I build in one? Sure, why not? What's the worst that can happen?
Um,
Probably like pick me up and carry me away in the middle of the
then
night.
I'm going back like probably a year or two, and I just happened to stumble upon some
Mm.
show that was a documentary that was being filmed in Ireland, and they were interviewing this guy was attached to the city. He's like some type of political figure, but he was also on camera with a guy that owned property near this area, and I guess maybe I don't know what they call it over there, but here they would call it a national park or
Yeah,
maybe just a park. But they
yeah,
had this whole area that they had designated an actual leprechaun land or something, and you could, and by law, they had designated this area that, and they said that people couldn't, by law, you can't travel through it,
yeah.
build on it, do any construction or saw any trees down or anything. What do you think about the leprechaun? I don't know. I am a very super, knock on wood again. I'm a very superstitious person. I don't think I'm brave enough to rock that boat. What do you think about the whole leprechaun stuff?
Oh my goodness. What do I think about leprechauns? I I do think, this is my opinion. I've never seen one. I haven't seen one, so I can't say that they're not real. the folklore is great about it. I mean, there's been many movies, fun movies and scary movies about leprechauns and so on. Um, I like to believe. I would like to believe. I haven't seen anything about I'd love to have the crock of gold at the end of the rainbow, but I haven't seen, so I can't say no, there's no such thing as leprechauns. So it's out for debate or trial, as they say. I don't know. I'm not too sure about leprechauns. And I know I should say, yes, there's leprechauns everywhere.
No, you're being. That's what I love about you. You're being honest, and this is right. This is from the mouth of somebody born and raised in Ireland. And like I said, I ask these questions to 100 people from where you're at, and I get 100 different answers. I have always been the kind of person that I just don't. It's like, one time here on my property, I thought I saw a little person peek through my doggy door at me in the middle of the night.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was dozing off in the lounge chair, and I thought, okay, you're just letting your imagination get carried away with it. But then some weird things started happening, and then I'm out in my garden, and I see this really big, weird rock that I'd never noticed before. And I asked my wife to come and look at it, and she goes, "Oh, that's the." My wife lived in Hawaii for many, many years. When she left, she brought this rock with her. I go, "You're kidding me? That you brought this rock from Ireland? I mean, from Hawaii?" She says, "Yes." I said, "Don't you know you're not supposed to do that?" I
Yeah.
didn't know how to ship it back to the island, so what I did was I just picked it up. I put it in the most beautiful area of my garden,
Mm.
and I just appeased it. The some of the Native American blood in me, I gave it candy and tobacco and put
Yeah.
money there and holy water, and I talked to it and said, really sorry that you're
Yeah.
here, but this is the best I can give you, and yada yada yada. And then I remember one time I had this huge tree. I mean, the tree was huge. It finally, as much as I tried to save it, I
Mm.
couldn't, and it was starting to die. Well, it started to lean towards my home, and
Okay.
I knew this is going to land on my house, and it's going to take
Yeah.
out my master bedroom. So
Oh,
what I
wow.
did was I went out there, and colleagues of mine are going to get mad at me for this. I prayed to everybody. I did pray to the Holy Family, and I
Mm.
did some Catholic praying out there and some Catholic rituals, but I also prayed to whatever elementals were attached to the property, which I suspected there was something going on,
Yeah.
to please not let this tree hit my house. Don't let it hit my neighbor. Don't let it land on my car. It's the only car I got. Don't let it land in the street and hit a kid, but please don't let it land on my house. I kid you not. I went to bed. The next day I woke up, went outside. The tree looked like it had actually been lifted out of the ground, leaned back the opposite direction, and laid gently in my yard,
No way, man.
not hitting my car, not hitting my neighbor, and stopping just short of the sidewalk so it wouldn't hit a kid or impede the kids from running or riding their
Yeah.
bikes up and down the
Yeah.
sidewalk. And I just sat there and looked at it and went. So I went, there was a big hole left where the tree was.
Yeah.
I just, here we go again. Tobacco went in there, money,
Yeah.
candy,
Gifts.
blessings. I sat out there with I had huge sticks of white sage and
Mm.
sweetgrass and Palo Santo wood chunks, and my neighbors thought I was starting a fire. I had the whole
Oh
yard
my
was just
God.
like downtown London at night, just smudging the
Oh
whole
wow.
area and trying to thank whoever was responsible for this tree not landing on my home. I wanted to thank them,
Wow. Yeah.
and I still thanked God,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I know He's overseeing all that.
Mm.
But what do you think about all that when I tell you a story like that?
Oh my gosh. It's you have to see, like you have to see to believe, kind of thing. Like, this, not that I don't believe, but this tree that's kind of like uprooting itself to fall onto your master bedroom, and then the next morning, and it's kind of on the other side. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd like to see all of that.
I've got about 5 minutes left before I have to unfortunately say goodbye to you. I wish I was there because then we would go. I don't drink anymore, but I would love you to take me to your favorite pub and watch you throw a few
Haven't been.
Bushmills back.
Oh,
But let me ask you this. I'm hoping
yeah.
with God's help that my wife and I are actually able to get out there in 5 years for our 25th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
Now, if we come, I do know that the woman who is going to put this together for us, she's born and raised in Ireland, still out there. She's
Mm.
has a tour company. She's also an entertainer, and she's very good friends with the gentleman that owns Lep Castle, and
Oh,
he's an entertainer. And so, like when we go there, she's going to arrange for them to both perform
yeah.
for us and have a
Yeah.
little party. But if I'm an ordained priest at this time, I would love
Mm.
to go up in the Bloody Chapel and maybe perform mass for anybody
Oh,
that wants to come and
wow.
attend mass. But so Lep is on there. I got to take my wife someplace where that has anything to do with Mary Queen of Scots because she's related to her.
Yeah.
I have to try to get to my castle in England.
That would be.
Um,
So,
but do you have a place in Ireland?
yes.
I'm gonna have to try and get out to St. Patrick's Purgatory on a
Oh
different
my
trip.
God,
But
that should
is
be on
there
the
any
list then.
place that you can tell us that I have to add to this trip that would probably just blow the whole tour party
Oh,
away?
naughty. Oh my, there's so many.
I know. How do you
So
choose?
many. There's so many because I know I've been to Lep Castle many, many, many times. It is phenomenal. It is. It's mind blowing. I'll just say that it's mind blowing. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. Oh my gosh, would you go? That would holy
So
crap.
you can't choose. There's just
I
so
can't.
much.
There's so many in my mind. We have Spike
And she
Island.
comes up the last time she sent me the last time I was supposed to go, and the pandemic broke out and we had to
Yeah,
cancel. The
yeah,
itinerary that she sent me,
yeah.
I was reading it like this.
Oh, there's
I just knew that it was going to be off the charts, phenomenal. But I've changed up a few things and added a couple of things. But um, if we get there and we're
yes,
anywhere near you,
yeah.
we have to hook up. I have to
Listen,
meet you in person, and we
I
have to go do something.
we could travel the length of breath in Ireland in a day. And there is one other place as well that I'm thinking of is Charleville Castle. I
Oh
have been, oh
yes,
Lord,
yes,
I have been there. Let me tell you, I was
yes.
only there last weekend. I was there last weekend with my friend Gillian, and it's gosh, yeah, it's a great place. It's
I can't believe I
beautiful
forgot
inside.
about that. Yeah,
It's
Charlottesville.
beautiful, and I know, Gillian, I know it's beautiful inside and the land. So yeah, Charleville Castle is a must. Have been a few times, and I know Gillian saying the whole of Offaly. Yeah, let me tell you, the whole of Offaly is amazing. We went to Burr Castle last weekend. Wow, my first time there. Wow. Um, gosh, Wicklow Jail. God, yeah, there's a
Just
lot
so
of
much.
places.
There's just so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will the next time when I really start planning this again,
Yes.
and I get my next itinerary. I'll have you on the show again. Well, I'm going to have
Okay.
you on the show way before that again, but we will go over the itinerary together, and you can just tell me what you think. I know that she wants. Um, she had where she lives up in the hills there. They have some wonderful, and everybody's going to go. You're going to attend a pagan festival, but they have these
Yeah,
beautiful festivals of fire, things up in the mountains and stuff that are just
it's amazing.
incredible.
Yeah,
I want to
I've
do
seen it
all of
done.
that
I've seen it
and
be
all
done on the
that stuff.
beach. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, before I let you go, your
Yes,
team is very successful, comes highly recommended. Everybody
thank
talks about
you.
your team when they talk about uh, Ireland teams, paranormal teams. For the That's all I get now are phone calls from up and coming people. I want to start a team.
Mm.
I don't know how to do it.
Oh gosh,
Could you help us? I'm all, well, unfortunately, I don't do it any longer, but I'll try to
mm,
introduce you to the right people that can take you and train you because you need that. But
100%.
what
Mm.
would you say would be the biggest do,
Yes.
must do to have a successful team? Um, and what would you say would be the biggest don't? Don't do this when you go out.
Okay, I have a few. I have a few. Um, Biggest thing if you're starting up your team, I know my camera's getting all blurry again, is respect. Respect people that has been there for many years. And you don't have to go by what they say, but just, take snippets of what we say, do, and what to do and what not to do. It's respect the locations, respect the land. No trace, as they call it, no trace litter, as in like no trace when you leave a location. You leave it the way you find it. Respect the locations and respect the spirits in the locations. Respect the people that you work with and people that are helping you to make your team up and running. The biggest don'ts is to get too big for your boots, to get too brassy. I remember I helped someone to set up a team, and then it was like, oh, I was every name under the sun. I said where to go, what to do, what to get, and then when I disagreed with something, it was like Jenny, 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 and I'm like, don't disrespect, do not disrespect, disrespect the locations. Big things for me is respect and disrespect. More respect and less disrespect. Go in with an open mind. Don't go in because what you see in TV. Go in with an open mind. You don't need a million pieces of equipment with you, as we all say. Recorders if you want to, pen and paper most important. Use your senses. Feel the land, if that makes sense. Don't go in all brazen and I'm going to get the ghost to talk to me. Well, they won't talk to you if you do that, because they're like human. They were not going to talk to you if you do that. Go in with respect. And respect the I call it the OG teams, the older people, the older people teams. We're not here a long time because we were bad at doing what we do. We're here a long time because we work hard. So if you want to take a little snip of advice, do that. And don't gossip. Don't gossip.
Do me a favor. I want you to promise me you're going to have the most amazing remainder of your Friday evening there in Ireland. When you think of me, put a smile on. Hopefully, it puts a smile on your face. I'll have you back. I promise.
Thank you.
I love you. I respect you. God bless you.
You too.
I will be in touch, and thank you so much.
A million thank you for having me on the show tonight. I really appreciate it, for giving me this time. We've tried for a long time.
I'll have you back.
Thank you.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
25th wedding anniversary, 5 years from now. Taking a dozen couples to Ireland. And we'll go banging on Jenny's door. We're here. Okay. I'm just going to go down the list. You got a piece of paper and a pen? Okay. Communitypayitforward.us. Just go there. You'll be pleasantly surprised. usocc.org. bishopjameslong.com. Go to those two places. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Thank you to Zach and Adrian Clayton. Co-producers. Couldn't do the show without them. I'm completely computer illiterate. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to PACT, little P, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel. For all of these networks simulcasting my show. And don't forget, BeInspiredRadio.net. Chicky Hot, the rock psychic. That is her radio network. She's re-airs audio cuts of my show on Saturdays all day long, along with a lot of other really cool shows and old Art Bell shows. Very cool network. Check that out. I forgot to ask Jenny about psychics. If she's got one on the team. She probably does, or she knows a good one. I like psychics. I know some very gifted psychics. I like to investigate with them. Eli Roth presents The Legion of Exorcists, Thursday nights at 10 p.m. on Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, and Max. Too scary for me to watch, but I hear great things. Check that show out. I will be here this coming. See, the leprechaun already knocked my shillelagh off. Knock it off. I will be here Monday. Oh, you're going to love her. Miss Ghost Ed 101 will be here. Heather Lee Landon, Dr. Heather Lee Landon, Paranormal Authority, will be here Monday, June 19th. Bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival barker hat. It's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night and have a good weekend and a very happy Father's Day. What's Forrest Gump's password? One Forrest one. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all. Peace.